Straight from the TMZ newsroom, it's the Hollywood Beatdown with this man right here.
Yep.
The best UFC fighter on planet Earth. Tyron
Yeah.
Woodley. By the way, today's show is sponsored by ESPN Plus, the only place you can watch UFC 236 this weekend. It's a fantastic card. You're going to be there.
I'm actually pull up. So
Yeah, Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway, Israel Adesanya, Kevin Gastelum. Huge fights. The link is in the description. Click it to sign up. But first, we are going to start with Fired Up. I'm fired up about you. You're going to be fighting Robbie Lawler in June in Minnesota.
Didn't they just see this happen already once?
Yeah, it did not last very long.
It's not going to get better, it's going to get worse.
It's the top clip on your highlight reel. Robbie Lawler got them hands very quick. It was one of the most ferocious knockouts.
The fastest knockout in welterweight championship history, which sometimes you guys don't get all the stats.
You guys are going to run it back.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of in a weird spot. You got guys like Robbie, who had a huge name, was a world champion, went on a crazy reign. I dethroned him from the title. He had a couple back and forth fights. Then he fights Ben, looked really
Ben
good.
Askren's one of your good friends.
Yeah, I mean, he looked really good early on. A lot of people thought it was over with, but he felt like the fight should have went on longer. Now I'm like, fuck, I want an instant rematch. So it's like, who else are we really gonna fight? You know, the name recognition-wise, I helped Ben get ready for Robbie, so now I can look at it from a different angle. Sometimes you look at it from your standpoint, you avoid some things, but
he hits hard, huh?
I mean, I don't know.
June 29th. June 29th is that part. Let me ask you a question though. You're going to be drug tested a lot. Right now, the talk of UFC is drug tests.
Man,
TJ Dillashaw.
I'm in the top 5 of all athletes of successful tests. So I'm at like 35. I think the top is like 37.
Yeah, you're one of the cleanest athletes in the history of combat sports.
Okay.
So you see a guy like TJ Dillashaw, right? Who has a really good reputation, is a really nice guy, but failed his test, got popped for EPO, is not going to be banned for 2 years. You cited him with a 2-year ban.
Yeah.
What do you think when you hear something like that? He's saying he's looking into it, but everyone is saying there's no way you can accidentally take EPO. It must have been intentional. What do you think?
You know, this is my thing. I always try to wait until the last minute, you know, when you hear all the information and he get an opportunity to speak. And I think he's doing a good job by not denying it.
Right.
And also not trying to, oh, my trainer slipped in, you know, a few sprinkles of this. I didn't know, oh, it was in this package, and I didn't know it was in the package.
Right.
If you took some shit like that, you know what you took. Now he's gonna let the game 2 years pass him. I don't know that he can come back and be the champion that he once was. Yeah. Don't piss hot. I take fucking plant-based on it. If it don't say that, I ain't on it.
Time for a segment called Tyron in the News.
Damn, back in the news.
You were flying out to Atlanta right now for UFC 236 to be part of all the festivities and all this stuff like that. Max Holloway, Dustin Poirier. Max Holloway seems to be at the top of his game right now, but he lost to Poirier back in the day.
Back in the day, then.
Does Poirier have a shot of upsetting him now, or are the skill sets too far apart?
You can't call it an upset because, you know, he beat him fair and square. We don't know how that plays in Max's head. Maybe it's like, oh, did you beat me one time? Some guys like that, though. Max
looked real good against Brian Ortega. Yeah. He mashed his face up real good.
But it's good to see how fighters do with someone they lost to. And like Robbie, you know, I don't know how he's gonna respond today. He might come out and try to say, yo, you knocked me out, let me show you. Or he might be like, hold on, I remember that right hand hit me. Changed my life. But one punch changed his life for a long time.
So what about Israel Adesanya and Kelvin Gastelum? That's gonna be a good fight too. And if he gets through, if Israel gets through Kelvin, John Jones has said that's a fight he wants. He wants Israel. A lot of people are excited about that.
I think John's gonna outweigh him by a shitload. He's a better version. He don't like to be compared to John, but we see what you're doing. You know, you're trying to utilize your long limbs. Against him and Gastelum, I laugh because you think, if this guy do this, and if that, and this is the interim belt, and if so happened that Robert Whittaker is back. If he's not, then we're going to be forced to take this interim title, and it's going to have to become for the undisputed. Oh my God.
So UFC 236 this Saturday, ESPN Plus pay-per-view. Again, click on the link in the description. Sign up. All right, it's time for a segment we like to call
On the Real, though.
On the Real. I know you had a relationship, friendship with Nipsey Hussle.
Man.
And it sucks what's going on. The situation, he was shot dead right in front of a store in Los Angeles. How did he affect your life, and what will you remember about Nipsey Hussle?
And I want to clear that up because I wasn't technically friends with Nipsey Hussle. Some people will exploit someone passing. They want to act like they were closer than they was to juice him up. I knew Nipsey. I met him a couple times through Wiz and Snoop. Always respectful, always humble. Came up to me, didn't even know me from any fight. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing, black man? Da da da. So he was always that guy that came in the room and people just gave him respect. I think what most people, including myself, are mourning is what he stood for. He's still for empowerment. He's still for, employing his neighborhood, doing something different. Yeah, he was a gangbanger. Yes, he was affiliated with the 6-0 Crips. But you look at a young kid from the same environment, somebody living on Crenshaw or in that area, they don't think they can be a doctor, lawyer. They think they're going to play basketball, rap, sell drugs. So to show them different avenues where, hey, you can start small, maybe it's a few T-shirts out of your trunk, and then if you stay with it and do right by your money, now you can evolve into this. Look, right. I'm living proof. And anytime you take out somebody that was living proof and, good thing for black love in the community and just business and entrepreneurship and things like that, I think that's a blow that most people suffer.
All right, which brings us to the punch Pat part of the show. Who gets punched in the face this week?
I got to punch Eric Holder for shooting a man that was very influential and positive for his community. His nickname was Shitty, so we can't expect him to be anything but shitty. Yeah. So he definitely should get punched in the fucking face. Every day of jail, one by one, every inmate get to punch him in the face.
Probably gonna happen.
Every day.
Yeah. Who gets pat on the back? Let's end on a positive note. Who's gonna get patted on the back this week?
I'm gonna give you a pat on the back.
For what? What'd I do?
Because today, you allowed the hairlining to look more like mine.
Yeah, that's
so
what
we're
I'm trying.
twins again.
That's what I'm trying to do.
We got a brother
here.
hairline, and he's
That's
closer
right.
and closer.
I'll let him put the swirl in my hair too. I'll do
that
it.
quarrel we talked about in the nightclub.
Yeah, I'll do. Oh, well, that's a whole other issue. Anyway, tell the people what to do.
If you guys are watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe TMZ Sport. If you're on Facebook, slide over to YouTube, subscribe TMZ Sport. More Hollywood Beatdown, another bomb-ass show. Yeah, and remember, UFC 236 this weekend, ESPN Plus. Click, watch. We'll talk about it next week. See you then.